What's going on, folks? Welcome in to a very special episode of Believe in Commanders. This is that way. That's Patrick Rice. All right. It's not Brian Murphy. He is the co-host of the show, but they look alike. They got very handsome looking fellows. But Patrick, I came across his post on Reddit. It's really cool. All these newspaper clippings that are put together. And he was kind enough to come and join me on the show. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about some playoff football as well, get his insight because he said he's a guru. All right, he's a guru, and I'm ready to put him to the test and see what he thinks about this. But welcome into the show. We're brought to you by the Believe Network. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe everywhere you at because we're there. Make sure you like and comment on this show. But Patrick, welcome in, man. Welcome in. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I am good. I'm hyped for Sunday. I know that much. Last week I made a lion brisket, and then this week I feel like I need to go find a bird to put on the smoker. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Yeah.
Feel like I got to get something on the smoker, but the reason why you're here is the really cool bulletin board you got going with a string of the headlines throughout the season. So, what got you into making that piece and putting that together?
Yeah. So, a few years ago, I was fresh out of college, started working a desk job and had a cubicle that seemed pretty empty. One Victory Monday, I was like, you know what? I'm on my coffee run. Let me pick up some newspapers and started then. And, since then I've just kept going. After COVID, it moved to my house. It's been on my wall. And this season I've really enjoyed posting it and then taking a picture and putting it online for people to see.
Nice. So the previous years, did you do like one per season? Because if we're being real, we got to be real. Last season, it wasn't before wins, so it'd be a real small bulletin board. So did you do one per season or did you combine?
Yeah, so it's usually one per season. Once the season's over, I'll take it down. Usually around like training camp, I'll put the old season away and start a new one. Last season, I got the sale of the team. I thought that was a pretty big win. Figured it's not my typical post, but I'll do that. And then, four newspapers later, the season was over.
Wow.
But yeah, it's great. And the season's obviously been the best for the collection, but it's been great.
For sure. Now, what newspapers are you grabbing?
So I typically grab the Richmond Times-Dispatch, but recently they've been winning so much, I grabbed that one and then the Washington Post. Try to see which one has the best headline, the best picture. The Washington Post are really big, so it takes up a lot of space on the board.
Okay, Washington Post being a little greedy, they're taking advantage of that real estate on the paper. Plus, you got the hottest team in the nation right now, coming off a huge win on the road. So you're 29 and you're buying newspapers. You don't even you got to be an odd duck in the sense that you're using newspapers and everybody's on digital stuff. So is there something about the newspapers that make it special, or what is it about the newspapers that you like the most?
I like that it's a physical piece of media. It's so easy to see a story or take a picture and then it's just in your phone, doing nothing. So it's nice to actually have something physical. And then looking back, I've got like 6 years, I think now, of newspaper clippings, and I can lay them out on a table, and everyone's got like a cool memory attached to it.
Oh, I love it. I feel like this season is one where when you're all done, you're going to want to frame it and then see if we can get somebody to sign it for you. Something like that, man. That'd be the chef's kiss right at the end to just take that thing to the top. So you've been a fan of this squad for your entire life, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, tell me this. Who is your favorite Washington player of all time?
Of all time, probably Ryan Kerrigan.
Okay.
Recently, gotta go with Terry. Terry.
I love it. I love both of the high character guys. High character guy. I remember Ryan's first big play at FedEx where he had the interception, pick six. Did he do it against Philly? Is that right? Did he do that against Philly?
I'm not sure.
Was it Philly or the Giants? One of them, but it was electrifying. Need that same type of magic this past Sunday. Obviously, Ryan Kerrigan is the coach over there. Mm-hmm. And then Scary Terry's having a career season. Absolutely out of my mind bonkers. Have you seen the clips of him motivating everybody in the before they go out onto the field?
Yeah, I think that's pretty new. I haven't seen him before in previous seasons. I'd love to see that side of him. I usually see him after the game, and he's just real level-headed, and it's just awesome to see him in the tunnel hyping everyone up.
Man, you ain't lying. I saw the one that he cussed. I was like, Terry cussed. Hold on. I had to rewind it, and I was like, what? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. He had me hyped. And he's like, come out there with your all. and just lay it on the line. I was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. I love hearing our leaders, talk like that. I love hearing our leaders talk like that. So from your clippings, obviously the past season, at the start of the season, I mean, did you imagine that you would end up having, the bulletin board in the state that you are? Obviously, NFC Championship. Could you have even imagined you'd have been at this point?
No, I was hoping for maybe like 8 wins. I feel like average teams on a rebuild, that's a good marker.
Yeah.
Obviously, no regression from last year would be great. But no, I had no clue. And actually, it was around like week 6 or 7. I was like, I'm gonna need a bigger board. I'm filling up too much space. There's too many wins this far into the season. So I had to get a big one around like the Steelers game. I had to pick one up.
Okay, I love that. See, that was a big turning point, right? A big, three loss streak right there in the middle of the season. You're investing in a bigger bulletin board, and this team is making you look like a very smart man. This show is brought to you by BetOnline. If you didn't know, all right, Patrick, it's brought to you by BetOnline. It's your number one source for all online betting. 2025, you got it. I mean, they got hockey, they got baseball, they got basketball, you name it. UFC, if you're into that. I don't really care for I don't know. I don't do UFC that much, but they got that over there. And they have this game. Last I saw, it was a 6-point spread. It had been moving around a little bit. Let me see where it's sitting right now. The spread on this game against the Eagles. Okay, it's sitting at 6. Sitting at 6 points. Over under is at 47.5. Obviously, you're cheering for the Commanders, but what do you feel is just, from your standpoint, what do you got to see from this team when they show up in the link?
I think you got to stop Saquon somehow, or at least limit him to no explosives, and then Jaden's just got to do what he does. And I think if they can keep it close, I trust him to pull it out in the end.
Man, I feel like that's the way the season is going. I mean, if you had to give me a synopsis of how it went, slow down Saquon Barkley because he's a hell of a player. I mean, over 2,000 yards rushing, an MVP candidate. He'd have my vote if people gave a damn about what I said on it. But I'd vote for Saquon Barkley because he's brought a spark to that offense. But yeah, you're right. And you're also right because Sean Merriman, he said as well that you got to shut down Saquon Barkley. You can slow him down. He's going to give this team a chance for victory. Now this game, you're going to have Jalen Hurts back. He may be a little banged up, but he's going to be back. It's the playoffs. Last time you got to experience Kenny Pickett. So this defense is going to have to step up and make a play. On the offensive side, obviously JD5, you want him to do what he does, but how have you liked the emergence of De'Ami Brown in the playoffs so far?
It's been a good surprise. I think after Noah Brown kind of got injured for the season, we were looking for that wide receiver too, and it's just been great to see people step up, and he's been doing that in the playoffs. I think the whole team has been stepping up leading up until then.
Absolutely. De'Ami's been making plays, and everybody that talks about the wide receiver too, they're like, you got to go and trade for a guy. You got to go in free agency. And there's some people that are, that are going to be out there. And I do think free agency may be a place to look. But with De'Ami playing right now, it changes the way the offense is going, Patrick. It gives them a vertical presence on a consistent basis, right? Because whenever you put one person in and he comes off the field for 3-4 plays, the defense isn't going to respect the offense the same way without De'Ami on the field. So with him out there, I think it opens up for Brian Robinson. All right, I'd love to see his physical play in this game. And then Austin Ekeler, Brian Murphy, he mentioned that he thinks Austin Ekeler is going to be a big playmaker in this game, especially out of the backfield in those screens and things like that. Let's flip over to the other side, right? To the AFC side. I know you don't have a bulletin board on them, but the Buffalo Bills are having a pretty good season. They're going up against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They're as quickly becoming one of the top rivalries in the game. Who you got on that side? If you've been, if you got to put your mind to, who do you got on that side?
Who do I think will win, or who do I want to win?
Well, you can give me both, man. We got time. You tell me. You let me know. Who do you think will win? Tell me that first.
I mean, probably the Chiefs until proven otherwise. I mean, that's what they do. This year it's been close games, but they win, and got to go with them until otherwise. But I want the Bills. I'd love to see the Bills in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Bills versus the Commanders would be another 1991 remake. Obviously, with the playoff wins, beating the Buccaneers has been a remake of it, and you can never doubt the Chiefs. So I'm not mad at you on that one. I've gotten to that point to where Even when it was with Brady and the Patriots, you just see like, okay, you kind of assume they're going to get the W until they don't, right? Until they don't. And I feel like that's how you got to treat the Chiefs. You got to respect them and who they are, but they have not looked as good as they usually have in previous years. So that makes them a little bit susceptible. Josh Allen, MVP candidate as well. He's put it all on his shoulders. He's handling things. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for that one. That was a 1.5 point spread over there at Bet Online. So, that's pretty much straight up and down. You can go over there and get it. Let me ask you this here, Patrick. One last thing about this game. Okay, I saw a cool statistic that it was saying that Washington is averaging a season or a playoff high 34 points per game. 34 points. Obviously, big points went up against Detroit last week, but Philly is averaging, allowing 16-point low. What do you think is the key to generating some points? Because something's got to give in this matchup. What's going to generate some points for Washington on this stingy defense?
I think staying ahead of the chains and then going for it on fourth down has really been working for them. And then you do that enough, you find your way into the end zone. I don't think it's a game where we can trade field goals for touchdowns and still come away with it. So I think being aggressive, being smart is how we got to do it.
Man, look at it. He gets it. He gets it. He's speaking it like a true vet over there. That's the key, right? That's the key. You have to be aggressive. I think it's the same playbook that you've had against Detroit, right? You got to be able to jump out here and apply pressure by putting points on the board, scoring touchdowns, going for it on fourth down, like you said, and put pressure on Philly. Don't go into a field position game. Nah, put points on the board and try to put pressure, apply pressure in this matchup all the way around. Let's see here. Oh, man. Patrick, you got any questions for me? So now you were here. We got a chance. You got any questions for me that you'd like to throw?
I mean, what's this season been like for you, seeing the team be as good as it has been?
Oh, that's a great question. It has been it's been like a dream come true, really. Like this is the most I've cheered for a team. Like you support the teams you played for, and I really have mostly supported former teammates and players, right? I'm like, all right, hey, I know this guy or I know this coach. I hope they do well. But this season has been so magical because I've been covering the team for 3 years doing this, and then being back on Twitter and engaging with everybody and going to games. I'm bought in. I mean, you see, I got the hats. I'm walking around the city with Commanders gear on. Everybody looking at me crazy because I live in Dallas. So, I'm in enemy territory right now, but it's been great, man. It's been cool to just enjoy it alongside of y'all and like come across posts like yours. Like I got fan mail here. I still get some every now and again. And I think that's cool. And I don't underestimate that, so being able to be alongside y'all that cheered for me back in the gap and cheered for the team. And then now we all get to cheer for them together is pretty cool.
Gotcha. How about the new ownership? Any, major differences there, obviously with the culture, but what's that been like?
Man, I have not had a direct, conversation with any of those folks in that ownership group, but I'm sure it will happen soon. And they always have a space available here on Believe in Commanders. But I can tell that they have done a great job of taking care of former players. You can tell they give a damn about the current players, and you can tell they give a damn about the fans. Now, I went to a game against the Panthers, and they had switched to like a digital ticket format, which then asks you for some surveys afterwards. And so in those surveys, they're like, tell us about your experience. How can we improve? And I feel like previous regimes wouldn't have given a damn about what the fans said and how the stadium was, right? So to see that they're actually trying to, and they're not just trying, they're doing things to make things right. They're, retiring Darryl Green's number. That needed to be done. They're making a switch. They're going to get a proper statue for Sean Taylor. That's something that needs to be done. Investing in the stadium and more entertainment in the stadium during the game needed to be done. And I got to applaud them. I think they're doing a great job. And you know what? You're reaping the benefits on the field. Everything else they had fixed, right? They're fixing the off-field stuff. They've got the roster retooled. Now you're getting on-field performance, and everything's coming together. All right, Patrick. So let me ask you this. You've got all these headlines. I'm assuming they're all from the W's, right? They're all from the wins. You mentioned stacking them up. There's 13 of them now. Which one's your favorite headline?
So I like the one against the Bucks. They said blood shows Daniel's guts. Is when he got the cut on his face. I think that's true, and it's a
I
great
like that.
headline. Yeah.
I like that one. What else? What's your second favorite?
Everyone seemed to like the 5 will get you 10 after that Eagles win. But I actually had to go and order a back issue of the Washington Post to grab that one. People really wanted to see it, so
you had to
I
go
went and grabbed it.
back issue. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, shoot, you 29 years old, right? Newspaper. I mean, your parents and grandparents did newspapers. What are your folks saying about you? You know, obviously you've done this for a few years now. You know it's a thing, but what do folks say to you about it?
I mean, it's interesting. They think it's cool. Yeah, this year obviously it's more to look at than previous years. Previous years it was probably like, hey, why you got like 2 or 3 newspapers hanging on your wall? And now it's actually more of a board. It's nice to see.
It's like a birthday card. You're like, here's my bulletin board project. Okay, yeah. Oh, you got a lot now, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I was thinking the Hail Maryland one would have been. Is that what they say on the Bears one?
Yeah, it's let's see, what do they have? It's Hail Mary to the Commanders.
Okay.
Yeah.
That bloodshed one has a good poetic feel to it. Cause I remember when I saw Jaden bleeding, I was like, they didn't cut the prince. Oh no, you don't cut the prince. And they turned it into a W. Shout out to the social team for doing that. What about on Reddit? Like, what are you getting on Reddit? Because social media is a crazy space where, Magic Johnson may see your post and then say, "Hey, we want to bring this guy to a game." What do the folks on Reddit say?
I mean, it's awesome to see they obviously interact with a lot more now that we keep going. Before, in the beginning of the season, it was like, "Hey, man, that's ambitious. That board might be a little too big." And now, ever since the last board kind of filled up, they said, "Hey, get a bigger one." And now this one's, I mean, almost out of space, and they keep saying, "Hey, we got room for 2 more. We got room for 2 more." So it's cool to see. I love seeing all the fans come out and kind of enjoy this with me. So it's been
I
great.
love it. I love it. I love it. Where can the folks follow you so they can see it, to see any updates?
Reddit's the only place I'm posting right now.
Right.
I think once it's all done, I'll try and get like a high resolution scan of it. So if people want to do something with it, I don't really know what they. Some people say they want it, so we'll see. But
Sell
happy to
that
do that
thing.
personally.
Shoot, we'll sell it over here on Believe in Commanders. I'll schlep it for you. Patrick Rice, man, I appreciate you coming to kick it with me, and sharing that, because I don't get newspapers that tell Commanders news down here in Dallas. So I love to see that and live vicariously through you in that instance. But I'm gonna give you 90 seconds. Okay, you get to look right in the camera and you got to give a game time speech. You were talking about Terry McLaurin gave his pregame. I need Patrick Rice to hype the team up for the game on Sunday. You ready?
I'll give it my best.
All right, come on. You can say whatever you got to say on here. It's all yours. You ready, set, and go.
All right, Eagles fans, they're talking. They think this game is won. They're looking towards the Super Bowl. Not against us. We win it. We go. We got to leave it all out on the field, and then we'll see everyone in New Orleans.
Anybody, anytime, anywhere. I love it. That's what he's essentially saying, folks. Going into the link, big game against the Eagles. 6-point dogs. Who cares? Don't matter. We coming away with a W. For Patrick Rice, I'm Anthony Armstrong, the original 1-3. Appreciate y'all hanging with us on this very special episode of Believe in Commanders. Y'all take it easy.